Hey everybody, this is Catrice Bailey from When Models Talk. You are now tuned in to episode 21 with Bec. Enjoy.
Hello.
Today we have Bec Corosanite.
Corosanite. That was so close.
Corosanite.
That was so close.
Yes. So we have Bec Corosanite, and she is a model, multi-venture, entrepreneur, content creator, brand specialist for Coco Kitty, founder of Boom Media. She is an artist, musician, singer, dancer, and a Drexel University student. Her studies are entrepreneurship, innovation, personal finance, and investing. Yes, we're going to get this money.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. That was great introduction. Great intro.
You still don't. You do so much. I'm still not done. She has walked the runways of Drexel University, Philadelphia/Jefferson University, New York Fashion Week, and Philly Fashion Week, working with designers such as Oxford Fashion Studio, Grayling Purnell, Joanne Fleming, as well as photographers such as Rue Castro. He's my favorite. Rue Castro, Alex Ashman, Andre Nick, Anastasia
Litvin. I love her.
William Perez, St. Matthias Khan. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Yes. Taylor Tresca, Alessandro Bombini. Who else? As well as Justina Billodine, Brian Solarski, and Charlie W. I did not want to mess up his name, so he gets it. Okay. And we have also worked together, and we had a chance to work together not too long ago on the Jefferson University commercial. And you're also signed to ewhmanagement and vieagency. So everybody welcome Bec Corosanite. I was close.
Bec Corosanite. That's what most people just say.
Since Bec forgot about cooking, Bec.
I'm so sorry.
So I'm going to share what I'm cooking. But in the meantime, we're definitely going to have a conversation with Bec on everything she's been doing. For example, the topics of today are training, agencies, money management, business, change/breaking out the box, effects of COVID, business mindset, and music. Because I learned a lot about Bec that I did not know.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Yes, and now everybody gets to find out exactly everything that you do, darling.
Hello, everybody. So many homies.
So my first question is, while I'm cooking, number one, I'm going to be cooking peach cobbler.
Peach cobbler.
Yes. So we have peaches, because you can learn how to make a peach cobbler too.
I will be making a peach cobbler.
Yes. So we have sliced peaches. Get it out the can, y'all. We ain't trying to be fancy, cutting up no fresh peaches. Nah, that can. I got about 4 of those cans. Of course, we need pie crust that we're going to cut up and layer it on the pan. Of course, you need butter. I have apple crisp mix that's going to go in there as well. Also, cinnamon, sugar, and of course, nutmeg. You need some nutmeg. You will, of course, you're going to pan a bowl to mix everything up. I'll show you how to do that, kind of, sort of. We'll see how it all works out. This is my first time cooking on live, y'all. Well, no, it's my second time, but that was kind of hard too. Either way, y'all figure it out. All right, so while I open up these cans, the first question I have for you, Bec, is how did you get into modeling?
How did I get into modeling? All right, so This is kind of a fun story. I was scouted 3 times before I finally started modeling. So, first time was at Philly Fashion Week. My dad took me when I was 14. I was so excited. I was so excited. I'd never been to an event that big. And so I was in line for a Reese's cup at the little concession stand, and a designer from the like collection show, whatever, ended up talking to me. And his clothes were a little risky, so my parents were like, "No, you're 14, like absolutely not." But I was scouted by Mark Scheiber, one of my favorite photographers, a few years after when I was 16, and I signed with my first agency. But that first designer that scouted me was actually at my first New York Fashion Week show. So we kind of grew up together, and it was a really fun kind of full circle moment.
I know that's right. I know y'all was so happy to see each other, considering that, you know, the age that you were when you first got scouted. Then now, getting older, it's like, oh snap, look at you.
Like, I'm at a bigger show, you're at a bigger show.
So did you always think that you were going to be a model? Is that something that
No.
No. You said that your dad brought you to your first show. So how did your dad bring you to a first show? Wouldn't it be like you wondering, like, Dad, bring me to this fashion show?
So my dad grew up in the arts, super like genius, creative guy. And I was always super, super awkward. I looked like an ostrich, had zero confidence whatsoever, was just lanky and awkward. And my dad just thought it would be something fun. He's like, come on, like, do you want to come to this show? And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I would have never thought that I could go to something like that, but like, I'd love to. Meanwhile, little did I know I'd be walking in them. Crazy.
Yes. So how is your dad now, considering he took you to your first show, number one, and now you're actually doing what you didn't even think that you were going to do. So how do you feel about that?
Oh, my parents, my family are so supportive. Obviously, they give me a hard time about stuff. They want me to prioritize my schoolwork, but I know that whenever I book anything, they're texting everyone in the family. They're texting all their friends, and they're like, "Beck did this." I know they're really proud. They're the best.
That's good, because it's very important to have people on your side, especially in this type of business, that's
definitely
going to support you and help you just through the process. Because sometimes we can get torn down, and we need somebody to pick us up.
It's intense. It's real intense.
So that's awesome that your dad is like, he started it. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. Because I ain't go to no fashion shows in early on in my, like, growing up, because I was a tomboy too. I was more of like, I wasn't thinking about nobody's modeling. But it just so happens the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
So now, training. Did you have any training? Wow.
I did. So,
tell us about this training, girl.
So, my training, modeling training, came from my first agency, who's absolutely amazing, and they drilled runway walking into me. We would have workshops where they would have all of these sort of like obstacle type course runway walk situations where they would have these costumes that we'd have to put on in like 30 seconds and then run and then take off a coat while we're walking and then like toss it over our shoulder and learn all of these different almost routines. And that just drilled runway walking into me, because if you can strut in a kangaroo costume, you can strut in anything. But my ballet training.
You're giving me some ideas, girl.
I know. They were awesome. But my ballet training, I danced with a teacher from the Bolshoi in Moscow, Russia, for my entire life. 4 hours a day, starting when I was in high school. And Natalia is my rock. I owe everything I know to her. All of my movement on camera, even a lot of runway kind of things that I've implemented into my, it's all from her.
Okay, now, so ever since you were 4 years old, you've been dancing.
Yeah, nonstop.
And that's why, like, getting into modeling, when I first started, I was with Ellen, which she has EWH now, which you're signed with her. And she's the one who scouted me. See, one of the things she asked me was, have you ever danced before? Have you took any dance classes? And when she said, I was like, huh? I'm like, no. But I feel like it's so crucial to learn dance early on as a kid in general, because it can be used in so many different ways.
Oh, definitely. And the discipline that you learn from it, just all of the other things, the preparedness. I never show up to a job without my model bag, without all of my stuff packed, and I would have never shown up to dance class without my ballet bag. And I don't know, it's the things that you learn and then you can apply. It's awesome.
Yes, because that's one thing I think is very important. And when you're doing a sport, when you're doing dance, when you're doing anything of that nature, it teaches you discipline. Because that's why I feel like it's very important for people to get their kids into so many things to keep them busy early on. Because like with my first son, don't be wrong, I got a little lazy with the last two. But with my first son, we had him in every single sport possible, because we wanted to, not only for him to learn the discipline, but also so that he could figure out what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, he chose not to do none of it. But I think it's very important. Runway training and ballet, which definitely shows, because I didn't know you did all that. I did not know. I was like, look at this girl killing it right now. So, next question. Okay, so how many agencies have you been with thus far?
I have been with 3 agencies. My first agency was a mother agency. They really trained me. They did amazing things for me. And then recently moved on to Ellen, who is my new mother agent. And love Ellen so much. She was able to sign me almost immediately with Vi agency. And I've been booking like crazy since I signed with Vi. They are absolutely amazing, especially for work during COVID, because they're so technologically savvy. It's awesome.
Yes, because we're going to actually really get into that too, especially the fact that you're booking so much right now, especially in COVID, because of course the industry took such a break on trying to figure out certain things on what they want to do, how to do it, considering COVID. People got to get tests before you come on the set. Everybody got to do all this extra stuff. You got to quarantine yourself if you are good until you finish the job. And I ain't trying to mess up my coin, so I will happily quarantine myself. So getting into that, as far as agency, we'll get to the quarantine part, well, COVID part. Another question I have, what have you learned about agencies by working as a signed model?
I have learned a lot from working with different agencies. I've definitely learned what my preferred methods of communication are. I've also learned that not every agency is for you. And even like bigger names, it's better to be signed with a smaller agency that loves you and will bust their butt for you, rather than a big agency, because I've been having a lot of conversations recently with friends who are with these big agencies asking me, how are you booking all this stuff? And I definitely think that your agency, they're working for you, so you need to find someone who really likes you and believes in you, rather than just any old agency. Your agent's gonna be, you're in it together.
what are some agency differences? Because since you have been with 3 agencies, what are some things that you learned that are different about each agency?
Mm-hmm. So, agency, you can really tell what an agency's motivation is. Some agencies are just in it for the money. They really don't care about developing a relationship with you, but that's honestly great for some people who maybe don't want to have all that conversation. They just want to get bookings. There's also agencies that are extremely hands-on, almost too which was kind of my first experience. I just needed some breathing room. I wanted to do what I wanted to do and not what they wanted me to do, if that makes sense. I think, so figuring out what you want out of an agency and then finding that. And it's honestly taken me like 2 years to find that balance, but it's definitely something that's worth working towards because I'm booking. I'm booking.
Like you said, where there are so many people, like the big agencies, like agencies in New York, that you talk to girls where they're like, I ain't booking jack. What's going on? And in my head, I would think that they would be booking more, but you're actually getting more jobs with a boutique agency.
Yeah.
Good tip for everybody. So if you're not signed or if you don't have an agency and you're trying to figure out what you want to do, check out a boutique agency. Let's run down some of the agencies that they have in Philly and in Jersey. So
Philly, New Jersey. So Vi Agency, which is non-exclusive. Vi does bookings in the tri-state area. Mercury Management also does bookings in the tri-state area. They're based in Philly. Mainline Models does also bookings in the tri-state area. I think they're a little bit smaller. Yeah, Click Philly. Reinhard is in Philly. Reinhard's great. What are we missing?
Joy Talent Agency.
Joy Talent Agency. Lots of homies with them. Yeah, lots of homies with them. I think that's all of the credible ones. Yeah. Ellen, obviously. EWH, Ellen, love her so much.
Just like you said, being with an agency, it wasn't like they were allowing you to do certain things. So, and it was certain things that you wanted to do, and somehow, some way, you figured out, and you started. And once you got, we'll get to the outside of the box part. But once you got outside the box and was able to be yourself and be your own self, this is where all these amazing pictures and her up on fireplaces with the legs out. I'm like, girl, you was doing it. So before I get to all of this, okay, so we're going to talk about business and modeling. What have you learned about business and modeling?
Business and modeling are very linked. As a model, there's a million of us. There's a million of us, and there's always going to be someone who's taller, prettier, and skinnier than you who can book the job. So you really need to advocate for yourself and know your worth, know your rates. Don't be scared to tell someone that you can't do something for free because you're valuable. And if your job is to be a model, you should be compensated for that.
Amen.
Yeah. Being even a little slightly confrontational, knowing how to send and receive invoices. There's so many things with modeling that are even like finance related. You got to pay taxes as a model. Surprise, surprise, it's a real job. We're contractors, independent contractors. Yeah, being a model, right next to being a businesswoman, you're advocating for yourself. You're your own boss.
Absolutely, because girl, when I started freelancing, I started doing my own thing. I was like, girl, I forgot all about invoices. And I forgot to send one, and I'm like, why am I getting paid off of this job? Girl, it went almost a year, and I completely forgot. And I was
you're like what?
paid because my Debbie behind it didn't send them an invoice. But I learned my lesson because I was like, I need all my coin. I need all of it. And also, one thing I learned, when it comes to, if you're a freelance model, you need to know how to do an invoice. If you do not know, contact somebody, Google it, YouTube it.
Yeah, you can Google,
YouTube.
You have the internet, your fingers.
Yes. So invoice, what else? Whenever you go to a gig and you sign a contract, take a picture of it.
Because, oh yeah, contracts are.
And this is one thing you got to make sure you do. Do not be afraid you are a business. So you need to make sure that you are taking pictures. Don't be afraid to take a picture. There was times where I was taking pictures and I was like, I don't want them to take a picture. No. Don't be afraid to take a picture of your contract because that's going to determine, like, say if they try to gyp you on your money, guess what?
You can picture the contract.
Take pictures of your location. Take pictures of you being there. Because guess what? If you ever try to get gypped from getting paid off of something, and it was, especially if it's a lot of money, you're going to be hot. Make sure that you have evidence that you've been there, that you've done something. Post about it that day. It's a lot of stuff. You have to have a track record. I've learned this stuff through freelance modeling, and I've been freelance modeling for about I started modeling in 2016, so 4 years. I've been freelancing for about 2 years, I think. Just make sure that you are covering all bases when it comes to being a freelance model. Meaning, just like she said, don't be afraid to sit there and say, I want to get paid, you know?
Yeah, or negotiating rates. You're allowed to negotiate as a model.
And again, she said, know your rates. If you do not know your rates, find out. Ask some models. Ask how much you get paid. So do that for a day. Especially if that model has similar qualities, just like you. Ask them, like, okay, so how much and a lot of times, I find that a lot of people don't want to talk about money. Because I ask all the time. I used to ask all the time. They're like, wait, how much you getting paid? But I learned that when you're at the location, you can't be talking about money. I had to learn. But
I know, especially since sometimes they'll pay people differently.
Yes. But one thing I learned about that too, depending on what they're particularly looking for as far as if one model, say if me and Bec went to a commercial, but Bec was the main girl and I'm like the background, so I'm like second to best or something like that, guess what? Bec's gonna have a bigger check than me. But guess what? I ain't worried about Bec coin. I'm worried about my coin. As long as I get my money.
As long as you get money.
Exactly. Get my coin. I know what I said I was gonna get. What you told me we was gonna get was the negotiation. So be business minded. Number one. Know your worth. And you talk when it comes to test shooting. How do you feel about that when it comes to being a model?
This is super interesting. I hope lots of photographers listen in. As a model, you have to be really picky about who you're test shooting with. Recently, I, for the first couple of times, started saying no to test shooting. I know, but reason being, say your portfolio's up here. And your friend's a photographer and they're just starting, if you shoot with them, then other photographers are going to see that work. They're going to see that you're shooting for free. Next time, maybe they won't pay you because you did that shoot with that person for free, if that makes sense. So I would say when you're first starting to model, say your portfolio's up here. And your friend's a photographer and they're just starting, if you shoot with them, then other photographers are going to see that work. They're going to see that you're shooting for free. Next time, maybe they won't pay you because you did that shoot with that person for free, if that makes sense. So I would say when you're first starting to model, get all, anytime anyone wanted to shoot with me, I was thrilled. I'm so excited. I'd go anywhere to shoot with anyone, was so excited. You have to be careful, be safe.
Yes.
Going.
Take somebody with you.
take someone with you. But once you get that, I will only do a test shoot if it's styled. I have a makeup artist and there's a mood board. Everything's thought out. There's concepts.
Yeah,
Don't photographers don't reach out to models without concepts. Don't say just like come over and we'll just mess around and take pictures to someone
yeah,
who
that kind of sounds kind of weird.
yeah no. I want to know that I can use them. You know what I mean? And that's
Exactly.
being business minded and picky. Knowing your worth, like
Yeah,
knowing seeing a photographer's portfolio and making the decision as to whether or not their photos will benefit you. And it's
yeah.
hard because you want to be nice and you want to say yes to everyone, but
You, but you're in business for yourself. You're a
yeah,
business, so you
yeah,
can't be. And one thing I'm learning every day, girl, and that is when it comes down to business, you gotta be a little. I don't want to say mean, but definitely on point about your business
mm-hmm.
and stern, and
Yeah,
don't waver.
assertive. You can be super friendly and assertive. I try to
That's
be
true.
assertive.
Again, you are a business, so if you know that you're going to need money to do certain things, you need money to live. Why are we not asking for something? You're using your gas to get there. You're depending on where it's at. If it's in Philly, I gotta pay a toll. What else? If I might have to, depending on the person.
I and take trains everywhere.
Yeah. So talk about that, like when it comes to your like traveling, when it comes to doing all the photo shoots and everything else. What are some options that you have for people?
So yeah, options are limited. I have my permit. I will be getting my license soon. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it. But
Okay.
but constantly on a train or bus. Sometimes I'll bum a ride out of my parents or a friend. But if it's
Mhm.
close, if it's local, public transportation's the way to go for me at least. But every once in a while, I get a job that's in the middle of nowhere, and
You need a
kind of
ride. Yeah.
kind kind of just hope that everything is going to be accessible via public transportation, or else I can
Girl,
always.
I am the hop in your car, hop on the road with some good music and some snacks, queen.
I can
Because
like I need that. I need that.
wait till you
I'm
get your
tired of
license though.
buses.
Wait till you get your license, but it's cheaper. Well, just like you was telling me before, it was cheap. It's cheaper to take the bus instead
Yeah.
of the train.
Mm-hmm.
Cause y'all, she was talking about some. I'm paying $100 to go up there. Who's paying $100?
So
And then, but for the train, it was no the bus. It was $7 to $10.
buses are like $7 to $15. Amtrak, $50 to like $200. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Anybody paying that? Let's get into this change of bets. You know, meaning she been killing these photo shoots. I don't know what happened. She cut the hair, and ever since she cut her hair, she been showing out. Now she up, like I said, she up on what is it called?
Um,
Fireplaces. She she is
yeah, I think
acting up, but you know what? All your photos have been coming out so beautiful.
thank
And I'm
you.
like, girl, you make me want to throw away my whole portfolio, say trash it. We doing all new photo shoot. All this. I need to take an acting class, a dance class, a little bit of everything.
She's got a whole
Because look, okay, so what are you doing differently with your photos? Like what's going on with that? Because it's like fire after fire after fire.
I have become hyper aware of shapes and my own angles in my own body. Because of ballet, because I was used to seeing the mirror 24/7, I knew my angles. But now I know my angles. So you tell me anything, deliverance. And I honestly think
Yes.
I've been practicing so much, and it's really art. It's really acting. So whenever I'm on set, they tell me they want, for example, when I was up in that mirror, the one photo of me moving all creepy with like, my shoulders, but it's like beautiful looking because of the dress, pencil, and everything. Um, I chose, that was the most uncomfortable position I could have ever been in ever. I was on my tippy toes and I had one leg out to the side and one arm up and one, but I was thinking about all of the.
You being up there, did y'all come up with like a concept before? Did y'all sit down and talk about it? Like, okay, this is what we're going for in order to deliver that particular type of pose.
Luke and I are friends. I feel like we're very much on the same wavelength. Prior to the shoot, obviously, he explained why we were doing this shoot, like the meaning behind it, the story that we were following. But I actually didn't know what my looks were until I got there. So every look I tried on, it was this new character that I was transforming into. And honestly, all Luke had to say was, like, right now you're dressing up in your, so I was playing the role of a mistress, the mistress of a man who lived in this castle with his wife. And so he was like, all right, so in this scene, you're really jealous of the wife. And then just deliverance, and we had a similar mindset, a similar vision for what we wanted these photos to be, that all he had to say was, all right, now you're trying on the man's clothes, now you're reminiscing about this, now you're heartbroken, now you're excited, you think you're on the top of the world because he invited you to a tea party. It was just all of these different characters that I was playing, and it was also just really close to home because I was playing the role of a younger girl who wanted to be this queen, but she was like a little young, a little immature for it still. And I'm a baby. Everyone knows I'm like so young. I skipped a grade when I was really young, so I've always been like the youngest girl in the class or whatever. So it was like, all right, like this is really close to my heart. Like I can resonate with these characters and really deliver the way he wants me to.
That's
or at least
awesome.
I hope I did.
Girl, I don't know if he thought you did, but I'm like, first of all, if I was the wife, I'm like, she getting out of my house. Not with that dress, she got stuck up. No, the mistress. But yes, it was so beautiful. And then I actually watched the videos of how the shoot went, and that's what I posted on my page earlier. And when I say, I was like, and you can tell that you're a dancer because of how you deliver. Yes, she is amazing. She is amazing. It was like, how in the world? And then you start running around the whole thing. I'm like, I can't stand her. I'm going to give everybody an update on the peach cobbler. So I'm making it, y'all. I'm making it so far. I have everything in a bowl, from the peaches, the cinnamon, the sugar, the butter's in the pan. I'm about to slice these up, which is going to go layered in. And like I said, peaches. I left the peach juice inside. I put sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, and that's it. I keep it simple with my peach cobbler. I ain't doing all the extra stuff. Oh, and this will come in later. I'll throw the crumbs in as soon as I figure out how to do that. But yeah. So I'm about to layer the pan, cut this up and layer the pan, which is pie crust. Oh, and I also have a pan that I'm about to take this. Well, take the batter. I'm gonna say batter, and pour it in the butter and cook it so it can marinate. So it can all marinate all up with the peaches. Anytime I'm going to slice these and put them and layer them in the pan. All right, I was updating everybody on the peach cobbler.
Oh, I was watching.
Oh, okay. So
where were we?
Yes.
Thank you all for watching. Now check out part 2 with Bec of When Models Talk.